14th chapter of the book of Iyov, and today is the yard site of David Schwartz, my nephew, who was killed along with his friend Yair Hexter fighting in Gaza on behalf of Am Yisrael, Eretz Yisrael, Medinat Yisrael, the entirety of the Jewish people. We remember him as we learn this chapter, and sadly, it's a chapter about, in a sense, the futility of life and the short nature of life. Adam Yulud Isha Ktsar Yamim Usva Roges. Man is born of a woman, is a few days, and is full of trouble or full of anger. Now, there's nothing wrong to be born from a woman as opposed to being born from another man, but it's saying that man is, from the get-go, is obviously not eternal, is mortal. Kitzitz yatsa v'yimol, v'yivrach kitzel v'lo ya'amod. He comes like a flower, and he's fleeting like a shadow and doesn't continue for the long run. He's only there for a short period of time. You may be familiar with this. Sounds like Yizkar words, right? Opening of Yizkar. Sounds like, we'll see other things in here that sound very much like Natanak Tokef, which we've had before earlier in this book, verses that in the last couple of chapters that have also related to phrases from that prayer. Let's continue. Af al zeh pakachta einecha v'oti tavi b'mishpat imach. And yet God, as Iyov said, you turn to me, you look at me, and you bring me judgment, right? You are eternal. I live only a short period of time. Why are you spending your time, dealing with me? Deal with somebody else. Tahor mitame lo echad. Who can produce a clean thing out of a unclean one? No one, right? A woman who's born becomes tameh. It's a human being. It's flawed from something that's flawed, because something that's flawed from something that's pure comes something that's pure. We can't stand up to your impossible standards that you would set for us. Im charutzim yamav mispar chadashav. Itach chukav asita velo ya'avor. Man's days are determined. You know the number of his months. You have set limits that he cannot pass, whether this be philosophy, theology that I don't like. If God says your time is done, then your time is done. Or whether it be, An Me'av Esrim Shana, 120 years, how long can a human being live? Our bodies atrophy. We just can't live longer. You know the number of months. You know that we cannot pass by. She'eh, we're in verse 6. She'eh me'alav vayechtal ad yirtzeh k'schir yomo. Turn away from him that he may be at ease. Until, like, somebody who's hired, a daily hire, finishes out his day. Right? Again, why are you paying so much attention? Why are you looking so closely? Iyov wants to be left alone in Hawaii. He doesn't see God as a protective force, but rather as God that's scrutinizing and is causing trouble. So leave me alone, he says. Let me finish my short day labor project. There's hope for a tree. If it's cut down, it will renew itself. Its shoots will not cease. Right, the tree. I don't know if it's cut all the way down, all the way to the bottom. The giving tree at the end of the book there, where it's cut down and all it is a little stump you can sit on, and even from that stump things can grow. But right, we prune trees. We cut down certain branches, and other branches take their place. A tree renews itself. Im yazkin ba'aretz shorsho uve'afar yamut gizo. If its roots are old in the earth and its stump dies in the ground, me'reach mayim yafriach v'yasa katsir kemo nata. At the scent of water will bud and produce branches like a sapling, right? So it almost has this tchiat hametim. It comes back to life. V'gever yamut ve'yechelosh v'yigva adam v'ayo. But mortals, they languish and die. Man expires. Where is he? Where is man? He is not there. One way of understanding this, main way, is right that, and we'll see more of this in this chapter, where we're gone, we're dead. Soul may live on. Iyov is not getting into a discussion of the afterlife, but certainly on this earth, we do not regenerate into another human being. body dies, and the bones eventually and everything returns to the soil, and maybe helps the soil and helps the earth. But we do not regenerate into another tree the way other things do in nature. Continuing verse 11, we're from the plant world, I should say. Azlu mayim miniyam v'nahar yechera v'yavesh. The waters of the sea fail, and the river dries up and is parched. Right, this is talking about the human. V'ish shachav v'lo yakuma bilti shamayim lo yakitzu v'lo ye'oru mishnatam. Man lies down and doesn't get up. He will wake only when the heavens are no more. Only then will be aroused from his sleep. Exactly what is Iyov talking about here? Is he talking about some future world or something? Is unclear. But generally, he's saying you go, you live, and you're done, and that's the end of you. Mi ton b'shaol tats b'neini tastireni atshuva pecha tashitli chok v'tizkareni. So you put me away in Sheol, in the netherworld. Nobody will see me. You conceal me until your anger passes. Set me a fixed time to attend to me, saying like, God, why are you torturing me in this earth? Like, put me down there. And then when you're done being angry, then bring me back up. Put me in timeout. And when you have calmed down, then bring me back up here. If a man dies, can he live again? All the time of my service, I wait until my replacement comes, right? I'm done. A person dies and that's it. He sees death as the ending. And why, therefore, are you torturing God? Leave me alone. I'm only here for one day. I'm not your permanent household. I'm not your nanny. I'm not your house manager, right? I'm here for one day. So take it easy on me. I make a mistake. Don't scream at me. I'll fix it. It's not worth it. I'm here for one day for you, God. Let me enjoy the short time that I have. Let me live a meaningful life that I have. Continuing in verse 15. Tikra v'anochi e'eneka l'maseh yadecha tichsof. You call and I answer you. You would set your heart on, right? You're concerned about your ma'aseh yadecha, about your handiwork. Ki ata tzadi tispor lo tishmor al chatati. But, right, just don't count my steps or keep watches over my sin. If you're concerned about me, be concerned enough or be kindness and gracious enough to, let me live my life without you being fully concerned for every single thing that I am doing. Leave me alone to do my work. Chatum bitzror pishi v'titpol al avoni. My sins, my transgressions would be sealed up in a pouch. You would quote over my iniquity, right? You wouldn't think about it because, again, he's here for a short time. Am I going to get so upset? I hired this guy. Okay, he's coming in and he's raking my leaves, and that's his, transactional relationship that I have with him. And he's done raking the leaves, and maybe he didn't do the best job. Okay, so I tell him to do a little bit better. But why are you dealing with me like this? Just cover it over. It's not a big deal. Mountains collapse and crumble. Rocks are dislodged from their place. Water wears away stones. Torrents wash away earth. So you destroy man's hope. There are two different ways of reading this. Main way I understand this is mountains collapse and crumble. Mount Everest is still there. Right? The mountains, they collapse, they crumble. There's an avalanche. Rocks fall down, but the mountain remains. Rocks are dislodged from their place, but there's a different rock there. Right? The water wears away stone, but the stone is still there. The torrents wash away the earth is still there. But man's hope, gone. Those who read it as a contrast, or others read it as everything wipes away from this. Interestingly, this first part of this verse, avanim shachakumayim, water wears away stone. And I'm just looking, I've got Safaria open, and I imagine that if I can scroll down here, it's going to show me, comes and is cited in a well-known story in Avot de Rabbi Natan, the origin story of none other than Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva, who sees a rock and sees the water dripping on it. Water erodes the stone. He quotes from our verse, and he said, if something soft can carve something so hard, then all the more so the words of Torah, which are like steel, can engrave themselves on my heart, which is flesh and blood. So Rabbi Akiva seems to take this verse out of context and out of meaning, which would be sort of the Rabbi Akiva, if you've studied about the life of Rabbi Akiva and his sort of his differentiation from so many of the other rabbis as this darshan, as this person who expounded and saw things differently and looked beyond the pshat, the literal meaning, and the contextual meaning of verses. So Rabbi Akiva takes from this verse where it talks about water washing away stone and sees it that he can be improved from his life. But Iyov in his life, that's not the way Iyov's looking at it. Iyov's looking at it and Iyov's saying, God, leave me alone. You've done enough you've done enough. I'm not going to be here for long. I'm going to be forgotten. So let me live my life without you being concerned about every little thing that happens. Titkepehu lenetzach v'yahaloch mishaneh fanav vatishalchehu. You overpower him forever and he perishes. You alter his vision and dispatch him. Yichabdu vanav velo yeda v'yitz'aru velo yavin lamo. His sons attain honor and he does not know of it. They are humbled and he is not aware of it. And that verse 21, very, very harsh verse. Sure, we've all been to an event, a bar mitzvah, a wedding, and they talk about the ancestors looking down and then smiling or whatever, things that are said at that time in regard to that. So I don't know. Iyov here is you could say he's referring to the body. He's not referring to the soul. He's referring it to a different way. But here, you can take Iyov's verse as being very, very little that people die, and after people die, they don't, in his viewpoint, they don't know what goes on. That's it. It's death. It's the end. And why not? Why are you torturing me in my life? After my life, I'm not going to be around to know if my actions had any results, if my raising of my children and grandchildren in the future has resulted in fruits and has resulted in them living the right way and me getting those nachas that comes from it. Iyov says, why you just leave me alone for the little time that I have. I'm not coming back in 6 months from now or in 3 months from now to check if the job that I did when I pulled away your, I worked on you and removed your leaves for the day, if I did a good job. You're not calling me back. I'm not coming back. So leave me alone for the short period that I have here. Let me live my life in this small number of time that I have. Let me leave it. Leave me and let me live it. And thus he finishes, Ach bisaro alav yichav, benafsho alav te'aval. What does man feel? Only the pain of his flesh, and his spirit mourns in him. A very difficult chapter. Again, we get the nice story from Rabbi Akiva about it, and Rabbi Akiva was able to see through things and understand it and have a different vision of the life and different vision of the world. But from Iyov's perspective, again, and his main point in these 3 chapters over and over again, God, leave me alone, is one, which is in this chapter. I live a short life. Let me try to enjoy it. We know another of the things that he says over and over again in these chapters. He wants a court case. He wants to speak to God. He wants God to listen. And it seems the other third point is if earlier in the book and in the beginning of the speech, we have a little of it, he's wanted death. He doesn't want to be here because of the pain that he's suffering, the emotional, the physical, everything. At this point, he does want to remain alive. He wants to have his court case. It's not a lack of belief in God. It's a desire to be in a conversation with God, to understand and to argue his claim. Man's days are short. Stop being so picky. You got to know your battles to choose, God, and the battles you chose with me were the long one. Please let me have that. Those are 3 of the major arguments he has in these chapters, and we'll continue tomorrow with his friend Eliphaz, the first of his friends, who will take God's place, as it were, and argue back towards Iyov in Eliphaz's second speech. Again, we'll see that with chapter 15.